I want to ask you about the Attorney General now. President Trump firing the U.S. Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, replacing him with Sessions' Chief of Staff, Matthew Whitaker, a permanent replacement, expected to be nominated at a later date. Congressman Cuellar, your take on this? What are you looking to accomplish here?
Well, again, I don't have that jurisdiction in appropriations, but that will come to us on the floor. But I think what folks, and especially if there's when they look through a Senate confirmation, I think folks are going to look at is to have an attorney general that's going to enforce the law, not interfere with any investigations, and just let the process go. But again, let's see who they nominate as the final person for the AG.
Was it appropriate for Jeff Sessions to resign, given what his performance has been in the last 2 years? How's he done?
Well, again, I've worked with the Department of Justice on many things. So on a level, we've worked good on many issues. But again, this is something that the president decides who stays and who goes. Yeah. The president asked for his resignation, and he got that resignation. But we do know that over so many years, the president has been very critical of Jeff Sessions.
Right. Let me ask you about this. I know yesterday was a busy day for both sides, party leaders trying to come up with a plan in terms of the leadership. Nancy Pelosi wants to be Speaker. Are you going to vote for Nancy Pelosi to be Speaker?
One of the things that some of us are asking is we want to sit down with her to talk about reform some rules, because we want to open up the system to make sure, as Blue Dogs, we want to see Blue Dogs be part of the leadership, be part of the committees and the key committees, because we want to make sure that the new members are coming in, and the ones that won in the red states are moderate conservative Democrats like myself. So we want to sit down with her and talk to her about this rules changes to open up the system, have more of the Blue Dogs at the table to make decisions. That's what I'm looking for, and then we can talk about who we're going to be supporting.
Well, there are a lot of moderates who've been very critical of Nancy Pelosi, and there are a lot of people who want that job who are more moderate than Nancy Pelosi. Are there others who you would vote for away from Pelosi?
Well, again, any candidate, we'll talk to them about rules, changes, and the same things that I just mentioned.
When will you decide? When will you decide, Congressman?
Well, once we decide if that candidate, whether it's Ms. Pelosi, Leader Pelosi, or whether it's somebody else, are they going to work with us on the rule changes to open up the system on the floor to allow amendments to come in and other changes that we want? Are we going to have more Blue Dogs at the table?
All right, that makes a lot of sense. What did the Blue Dogs or yourself say about the caravan? I mean, we've got thousands of troops now deployed at the border. Obviously, you represent a border state. That migrant caravan moving northbound from Mexico, as Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell weighs in on the future plans for the border wall funding. Here's what he said yesterday. Listen to this, Congressman.
We're certainly going to try to help the president achieve what he'd like to do with regard to the wall and border security. And that'll obviously have to be done on some kind of bipartisan, some kind of bipartisan discussion.
Congressman Cuellar, you represent the people of Texas. Are you going to vote for the border wall funding?
Heck no, no way. Look, I want to see strong border security. I want to see more Border Patrol agents out there. I want to see the technology down there. I want to make sure we secure the border. We don't want open borders. We want law and order there, but we want to do it right, using 21st century solution technology. What the military uses, the technology. There's things out there that work. The wall is a 14th
century. What's better than the wall? What kind of technology is better than the wall, then, Congressman? Explain it to us.
Yeah, it sure will. Aerostats, cameras, sensors.
We don't have that there now? How is it possible that we don't have that there now?
Listen, I've gone to the Border Patrol in the middle of the night, to the Border Patrol with them, and they'll tell me, see those cameras over there, Congressman? That one facing that way is working. That one over there is not working.
Oh, come on, give me a break. How is this possible that you have these cameras there that are not working? But this is on your watch.
That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly. Well, when you take money away from technology or personnel, well, we're losing more Border Patrol than we're gaining Border Patrol. We're losing more Border Patrol than what we're hiring. So what does the administration do? They put out a $290 million to get a contractor to show them how to hire people? No, let's give the money to the Border Patrol, give them bonuses, give them pay raises, buy them equipment, things that work. I live on the border. I know what it is. I know what it is.
That's a little ridiculous that you have equipment at the border that doesn't work. I mean,
look,
it's both sides' fault.
Why don't you go with me to? I'll invite you to the border.
I'm going to follow
personally
up on
invite
that,
you.
Congressman.
Let's do it. I'll welcome you.
I would love it. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you'll come back soon. Congressman Cuellar.